This tutorial addresses revisions to the elementary progress report for the 2015-2016 school year. In response to feedback from the elementary curriculum vetting team and the Infinite Campus coaches group, Teaching and Learning is striving to make the grading philosophy used for the various sections of the report card more consistent among the content areas. With that in mind, a decision has been made to include all report card statements for literacy, mathematics, science, and social studies on the progress report for all 4 quarters. Changes have been made to English language arts, some mathematics, some science, and work habits, but all the other standard statements remain the same. Infinite Campus is currently in the process of building our custom KUSD report card. In the meantime, we'll use a hand-built mock-up sample of the report card. This will show us some of the things, some of the changes, but not all. We will be able to see those once we get back in August. So one of the notable changes is the length of the progress report. And let me just scroll down. This would be a sample of page 1, and we'll jump down to page 2. And that's it, these 2 pages. This happens to be a 5th grade report card. But there's 2 reasons for the length being a little bit abbreviated. One of them is that some of your standard statements have been combined. They have been revised to include some of the individual standards into one umbrella statement. And another change is your shading. So we've got them all the standard statements here, and you'll notice there's shading in certain pockets of the standards. And let's look at literacy. Under describe how point of view impacts storytelling, this one is shaded, so that will not be visible during quarter 1 for scoring, but it does open up in quarter 2. If the teacher is not set to address that explicitly in quarter 3, the score here, number 3 in this case, would be carried over to the quarter 3 score. However, if a student has something different and the teacher continues to work on that in class, then the grade would be changed as reflected by that progress. Another thing that has changed on the progress report reporting out for next year is the use of ends, or the minimal use of our ends for not assessed. Really, the only areas that an N will be used in this next year's report card will be in the area of science, and that is simply because of the rotation of the FOSS kits. So if we look at the science standards here for this 5th grade student, they did not have the FOSS kit that addressed this first standard statement. They did have the diagrams on energy and the Earth's resources, but there are ends in all the other areas first quarter. Then this second quarter, they ended up getting the FOSS kit for this first standard statement. So now there is a score addressed there. The 3 for the next standard statement has been carried over. They didn't have FOSS kits for these other standards, and this 3 share ways that communities can protect the Earth's resources was carried over also. So there's very few ends. The other content areas really don't have the use for them since the shading is there. Another area, maybe some of our special area teachers may have a use for an N if they don't happen to reach that standard during the first semester of grading. And notice here the special areas, art, music, and physical education, have had a grade out quarters 1 and quarters 3 because they're only reporting out at the semester time during quarters 2 and 4. Another change on the report card for next year will be the student information. Currently, we have some of the student and school information in the upper left corner, and we scan across the top to see the attendance. I'll give you a screenshot of what that's going to look like for next year. So the customized report card will then move attendance over here to the far left side of the report card. So the student and school information will be in the upper left corner, attendance in a nice tidy chart beneath that, and then at the bottom will be the key for the academic performance standards. The movement of the attendance all the way over to the left side will help us keep all of our standard statements in line in our columns without the splitting up of a column from the bottom of one area up to the top to the next. So all of our standard statements should be neatly fitted into our pages. The final change to our progress report is the teacher's ability to add quarter comments. And that would be under this general comments section here at the end of the report card. This is in addition to making comments addressing specific standard statements, as we've been able to do this year. You'll see some of those standard statement comments right beneath the standard in some of our subject areas here on this report card. Teachers will now have the ability to write both types of comments. So the general comments will be here, and they'll just write handwritten comments here about the students in general. There's another tutorial called Posting Comments that you can see and review to help you with that step by step. So the changes that we've made to the Infinite Campus report card is the fact that we have some reduced progress report statements. They've been condensed, so there's not as many. All standard statements are visible all 4 quarters for teachers. The shading will appear for standard statements that in quarters until they're introduced for instruction, and so there's opportunity to provide end of quarter teacher comments also. If you have further questions about this or any of your Infinite Campus needs, please contact your building Infinite Campus teacher coach or contact me, mvaleri@kusd.edu.